Today we will do again the meditation with the yantra like I promised you, because it wasn't recorded then, the sound. We will do again the meditation, and I will try to redo all the explanation, but I don't know if I will do the same again, but let's hope that is close enough. Uh, but first, let's start by a little bit of interiorization, closing our eyes, relaxing, straightening the back, bringing the mind into the here and now. We detach ourselves from our worries, our thoughts. We are aware of what we feel, of how we are, sensations, energies, emotions. We center our awareness in the middle of the chest, a little to the right, that place that we point to when we say I. And from there we embrace everything with love, kindness, and compassion. And now, keeping this awareness of the heart, we open our eyes and we'll start our lesson today. The meditation that we did, and I will keep the yantra present so it's easier to speak about it and have it in our minds. We will use it not as an actual yantra, but as an actual yantra of Mahavidya or something, but just to understand the process, because each of these yantras are used for sure in various ways. Their main characteristics is that they represent an energy. In the case of Mahavidya, they say is like a body, like the body of that energy. For sure is a metaphorical body and a symbolical body, because like you see is just a drawing, not something actual. But the idea of a body of Mahavidya or of I don't know, Shiva, Ganesha, or some other deity, is because a lot of time it's projected on our own body. It's like we want to make our body a temple or a place in which that energy, that deity, that Mahavidya can come and manifest itself. In the same time, it represents a sacred space. A lot of the Indian temples and sacred spaces are in this form as a square with 4 gates, 4 places to enter the temple. So in this sacred geometry, in this sacred space, we enter through these 4 gates. Usually they are oriented uh, by the spatial directions, so east, west, north, south. Like we discussed the other time, usually I say usually again and again because there are some different uh, ways in which we can orient ourselves. And because you were in the Mahavidya lessons, you saw that yantra is put on the ground in different ways. But usually we are facing east. East because the sun is rising from the east. And in yoga tradition, in yoga spirituality, east and sun rising are very important because the sun is a symbol of consciousness. Like the sun that illuminates the earth, the moon, and the whole known universe, our consciousness in the same way illuminates the world that we know. And this kind of idea of the light of consciousness as the light of the sun, it's important to understand because you see, every time we experience something, we say that we perceive. So if we look at some object, the light from that object comes to our eyes and we have an experience. But from the point of view of consciousness, what is happening is that we orient our awareness towards that object, and we experience it. So even if it's just light that goes to our eyes, it's actually our awareness that becomes manifest in that moment, so that object is perceived. Because if we are not aware of that object, it's like it doesn't exist. Uh, and for sure, it seems like kind of artificial thing to do because there is no light that is coming from our head going to that object to uh, put it in the light. But again, from the point of view of consciousness, it's necessary that we look and focus and orient our awareness towards something that something becomes present for us. If we are not aware of it, it's like it doesn't exist. So if or until we have this experience, the object is not present and not existing. And it's the same with the light of the sun. Until that light shines upon earth, we don't see anything. Now we see because we have electrical light and such, but if we don't have electrical light, without the light from the sun, we cannot see anything. And this is the metaphor. And for sure, the sun also gives us heat and all the things that keep us living. But what the metaphor implies is this light that we shine upon the objects that we experience. So for this reason, usually the meditation, the practice is done facing east. Also in the tradition, our body is divided between these spatial directions, uh, with the face being the east, the back being the west, the head being north, and the legs being south. And for this reason, sometimes we do the asanas with the head or aligned north-south, but also we can do it facing east. Now, because of this, you will encounter this kind of indication that you meditate facing the direction of the rising sun, so east, and a lot of the times the yantra is visualized by the direction of our orientation. So even if we put the yantra on the ground on different kind of spatial orientation, in our internal geography and orientation, the face is to the east, the back is to the west. On the side note, Paschimottanasana, the pose, the asana, Paschima means west. So it's stretching of the west part, which is actually stretching the back. Paschima means west, and by extension, the back, and Uttana means to stretch, to extend. Also, another explanation is raising to the west path, which is Shushumna Nadi. And there is also another asana, which is called Purvottanasana. It sounds very similar to Paschimottanasana, but now Purva means east and is stretching the east part. So to understand some meanings of the asanas and why they are in the way they are. Coming back to yantras, you saw in Mahavidya, they are put usually on the ground, not on the wall. We use them on the wall in front of us when we want to practice concentration, gazing towards the middle of the yantra. But otherwise, they are on the ground, again, because of this. They are the sacred space in which we meditate and help us to become more aware of this sacred space. But in Kashmir Shaivism and in other traditions, the yantra is actually projected on our bodies. We meditate in the middle of the yantra. Yantra is all around us. And the meditation that we will do today, it's like this. We visualize, we imagine that we are in the center of the yantra, and we choose this very simple yantra because we just want to experience the idea. But sure, there are some other more complicated yantra that you can project on your body, but you have to understand the significance. The projections, the way in which you understand the yantra inside of you is not like a bidimensional thing, but a multidimensional thing. What I mean by this is not that we are sitting inside two triangles surrounded by 8 petals, a circle, and this square thing with gates. They are actual energies that we try to be aware of them. So each gate is guarded by a deity that help us to be protected, and they keep away from us intrusive thoughts, worries, problems, and such. So we invoke their presence to keep us uh, in silence and quiet. Uh, and we will do this during the meditation. We invoke the guardian of the east. We invoke the guardian of the north. For sure, in the tradition, they have various names, but I don't want you now, in this moment, to be with so much information that you lose sight of what you have to experience. And for this reason, we will not speak about each of the names of all these things. Then the circle, it's a very important symbol because it defines our consciousness. The circle is like the perfect geometrical figure. Every time in the philosophical tradition they want to express unity or perfection, they use the circle because uh, it gives this kind of vibe of contained, of perfect roundness. Then we have this 8 petal circle. For sure, in different yantra means different things, but again, usually, and I, I think you are quite tired of this usually, but we we use this because usually the 8 petals are referring to the so-called Puryashtaka. Puryashtaka means the city with 8 entrances or 8 openings. And it's a direct reference to the body. The body has this kind of 8 entrances by which the knowledge, the information goes to the center. The center of our being is the self, is Atman. So these 8 doors, let's say them doors, portals, are actually the senses. So uh, we gain information by these 8 gates. So we have smell, taste, sight, touch, and hearing, the 5 usual ones. And when we will do the meditation, we will uh, honor each of these senses that bring us the information, the knowledge to the self. But there are the 3 more gates or doors or openings, which are not usually understood as such, but they are quite important. And they are antahkarana in Sanskrit, which means the internal instrument. The 3 are manas, the lower mind, buddhi, the higher mind, and ahamkara, which means again the instrument of the I, of the self, of Atman. Aham means I, and is actually the symbol of Atman, of the self. So why are these 3 considered also senses? The mind, manas, the lower mind, is actually the one that help us to understand what we see. Is the one that when we see the color red says I see it says uh, the color red is seen. So it recognizes different things that we see or recognize that we never seen that before and try to define that thing that we didn't see before, giving it a label. So if we see, I don't know, a kind of red that we didn't see before, we say, I see a kind of red. Yeah, because we don't know the actual name. I don't know. It may be burgundy, but we don't know it's burgundy, so we just say it's a kind of red. Yeah. The mind, the lower mind, does this processing of the information that comes from our senses. I don't know. We smell roses and we recognize that there are roses and not, I don't know, lilies or other kind of flower. So this is the what the lower mind does to the process of experiencing things. Then we have the higher mind, which is buddhi, and buddhi has this kind of role in which it recognizes the value of what we experience, or it attributes value. So when we see something, we say, this is good, this is bad, this is moral, this is immoral, this helps me, this doesn't help me. So it uses some kind of set of values to understand what it's experienced. Usually we think about manas and buddhi as the child and the adult. The child only experience the things by the way of I like it or I don't like it, and the adult experience the world by the way in which is good for me or is not good for me. It's uh, this kind of judgment. So if a child says, oh, I want to eat ice cream every day for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner, uh, the adult says, no, this is not good for you, and you should eat vegetables, or I don't know. So this is the difference. If we let our lower mind to guide us, we can get into troubles if we don't use the higher mind buddhi. And for sure, for various reasons, we usually just let the manas, the lower mind, to guide us, and we act because the lower mind doesn't need too much thinking to attribute value to an experience. It's just, oh, I like this, I want more of this. I don't like this, I want less of this. And it's easier for us because the higher mind needs some thinking. I have to think in long term. If I do this again and again, what will happen? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? And then we make the decision. So we use the higher mind not so often, but when we have to take a important decision. And then we have ahamkara, the ego. It's the one that understands that he is the one experiencing things. Because manas and buddhi doesn't have this attribute. They just experience. It's not that I like, but is the experiencing of liking. So if we don't have ego, there is just liking without someone to like that. And for this reason, it's called the instrument of I, because it assumes actions and experience. It say, I see that, I like that, I think that this is good. And these are the 8, uh, let's say, petals of the lotus. Now, in the case of our yantra, because usually all the yantras have some kind of triangles, uh, the triangle is a symbol of the Trinity. And the Trinity can be a lot of things, because in Indian philosophy, in yogic philosophy, a lot of things are coming in 3 ways, like gunas. Yes, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Like, I don't know, a lot of things are coming in threes. And it's a kind of usual thing. In our yantra, you see a triangle is having the tip, the point in one direction and the other one in the other direction. For sure, when we visualize them on the wall and put the yantra on the wall, it makes more sense, because the triangle with the tip up, with the point up, it usually a symbol of the masculine, of the Shiva energy, because usually this means that you are oriented uh, up. Up in the spirituality is not actually up, and for sure it's a bit hard to understand. It's up or not is not up. It means uh, it's a bit hard to explain, but let's say like this. Uh, in the subtle universe, we don't have up and down. Up and down is here on Earth, where we are the subject of gravity, of the force of gravity that keeps us stuck to the Earth. In the subtle energies is the moving of the energy towards transcendence or towards immanence. What this means? Transcendence means towards non-differentiation, towards unity, and immanence means towards manifestation, towards diversity. So here there is no up and down, but for us as vertical beings, it's easier to understand it as a movement up and down, because the energies are aligned, the energies of consciousness are aligned by our spine from the Muladhara to Sahasrara, which for us is like from down to up. But when we stay on our heads in Shirshasana, then what was down becomes up, and what was up becomes down. So you see, it's just a relative thing to go in this way. So for this reason, sure, we use this metaphor of up and down, but I want you to understand that there is no up or down in these kind of subtle energies, but it's more like, let's say, to understand better, it's more like in the case of the energy, we have higher vibration and lower vibration. And higher vibration is not up, lower vibration is not down. They can be in the same space, but they uh, are experienced and meaning and have a different meaning. So, again, when we speak about the Shiva energy, and it says that it points up, it means that it points towards transcendence, towards this uh, going out of the world of the manifestation of diversity, is the spiritual tendency to seek unity, to seek the depths of consciousness and such. And the feminine energy, the Shakti energy, means going towards manifestation, towards multiplicity, towards diversity. The reason is that they associated the sexual organs. The masculine is pointing up, and the feminine is like a triangle pointing down. And from this come these kind of symbols and metaphors. Yes, the lingam, the sexual organ of the male with the two testicles, is like a triangle with a point up, and the yoni, the uh, external part of the sexual feminine sexual organ, is like a triangle pointing down. And from this the symbolism. But again, is not about uh, this. When we sit on the ground, for sure we are invoking the presence of both these energies, the one that take, takes us towards transcendence, towards uh, the unity of God consciousness, and the feminine one that brings this God consciousness, this divine consciousness in the world. And you see, both are necessary for a spiritual life. I don't want you to think, oh, the Shiva is better because it takes us from this suffering and ignorance towards transcendence, and Shakti is not so good because it brings us into this world. And it's not like this. Shakti means that the divine consciousness is brought in the world, and Shiva is extracting the essence of this and bringing back to the divine consciousness. Both of these are necessary for a harmonious spiritual life, because we live in this world, and we want that this existence to be as good and as harmonious it can be. And in the same time, we have this aspiration to know the divine consciousness. And these two triangles express in our being these two tendencies towards transcendence and towards immanence. Again, transcendence means that uh, non that divine consciousness in which there is no difference. Yes, this is the transcendence. There we only have the divine consciousness, and immanence means that this divine consciousness is multiplied in each and every object that we experience. And coming back to the Puryashtaka, the 8 gates, the city with 8 gates that is our bodies, what is happening is that our consciousness go out to experience the world. Yes, this is the significance. Our awareness goes out to experience the world using the senses, and then the senses bring back experience. I experience the red color. I experience the perfume of the roses and such. And this experience is essentialized in our hearts, in our divine consciousness. So we are open to the world, but we are centered in the divine consciousness. So this is the significance of this kind of yantra. And the central point which is usually present in each yantra, when we experiencing this in our body, is actually the Shushumna Nadi, the spine, the the axe of the axle of the world, the like in Latin is axis mundi, the axle, the center of the world. So we are the center of the yantra, or more explicit, our spine is the center of the yantra. So these are the symbols, and the meditation is about uh, having this kind of subtle understanding of this sacred space. And it's it's a thing that we can do each time we meditate, invoking this sacred space, invoking this presence of these kind of energies, and the presence of the center, the self and the spine as uh, the place around which we experience the world. Because even if we don't know, uh, our presence and our aspiration and our spiritual practice, it's making actually the space in which we are sacred. I don't know if in other languages is this expression, but in Romanian we have this kind of saying. I will try to translate it, but it doesn't sound as good as in Romanian language. But is like the man is the one that makes a space sacred. It's like something like this. Omul sfințește locul is in Romanian. The man is the human being is the one that makes a space sacred. So it's not that the space is by itself sacred, but by our aspiration, by our presence, it becomes sacred. You know, a church is not sacred by itself. It's sacred by the way in which different beings are praying and invoking the presence of God there. This is what it makes the church sacred. Not the stone or the form of the church, but the aspiration, the prayer and the spiritual practice. So in which place that we meditate, we actually, it's a funny thing to think about, but it's like we manifest the yantra in that place by defining the directions of the space, by defining the lotuses using our awareness, by defining the triangles by our aspiration, the triangle pointing up, and our desire to embody that spirituality, which is the triangle pointing down. So each time we meditate, we actually create this kind of yantra in the place that we meditate. And being aware of this brings another dimension to our meditation. It's like we bring the divine consciousness in that place with us, meditating. So before we start, if you have any questions. Uh, yes and no. Both, both, immanent and transcendent are Shiva and Shakti together. So both immanent and transcendent are Shiva and Shakti together because they are actually God, Brahman. But uh, what brings this consciousness to life in this world is the Shakti power, and what extracts this and brings us to transcendence is the Shiva's power. But they are always together. Like we say again and again in Tantra, they are always together. But the energies, like what moves the things towards a direction and the other, is this. Shiva brings the manifestation back to transcendence. Shakti brings the transcendence back into the world. And actually, immanence means that God is in everything, in us, in, I don't know, roses and reds and such. And transcendence means that place in which there is no roses, no reds, and nothing, because there is just the divine consciousness. So this is the difference between them. But it's God. When it's manifested or when it's unmanifested, is God. And God means in this tantric context Shiva and Shakti together. Yes? Okay, then let's meditate. So please get in a comfortable position. For sure, after we become aware of this yantra that we do with our bodies, with our presence, and become aware of these various parts of the yantra inside of us as energies, we will continue with the usual meditation, uh, the usual Hridaya meditation, but now using this sacredness and this sacred presence to go deeper, maybe than usual. So let's get in a comfortable position with the back straight, shoulders a little to the back, opening the chest in an open attitude, finding that inner balance between the firmness of the pose and relaxation, so that we can remain still for a long period of time, transforming the stillness of the body into the stillness of the mind. We start by doing Ishvara Pranidhana, the consecration, having God as the goal of the meditation, offering our practice to the benefit of all sentient beings. May they all be happy, may they all be wise, may they all be kind to each other, may they all discover love and compassion. We offer our meditation to God, seen as the essence of our being, as the essence of the world. We offer our meditation to that mystery of existence, of being without being someone or something. Satchitananda, pure existence, pure consciousness, pure bliss. And now we are ready. So we start our projecting of the yantra into the body by visualizing the sacred space in which we are. In front of us is the eastern gate. We invoke the presence of the guardian of the east. And we offer our gratitude for it to guard us from the intrusive thoughts coming from the east. And then we visualize the back entrance, the back gate of the sacred space, the presence of the guardian of the west. We offer our gratitude. And then we visualize the left side entrance, where is the guardian of the north, and we offer him our gratitude. And then we visualize the right side gate and the guardian of the south, and we offer it our gratitude. We feel that we are surrounded by these guarding energies in this room of ours, front, the back, the left, the right. We offer our gratitude for being protected, inspired, and now we visualize the circle that surrounds us, the perfection of unity. Projected in our space is a sphere with the center in our hearts. We are this sphere of consciousness, expanding from our hearts to infinity. And now we offer our gratitude to the 8 petals of the lotus, which are the 8 entrances to the self. Each petal is a goddess of the senses, that brings knowledge and experience to offer to the self, to Atman. So we start by offering our gratitude to the goddesses of the smell, bringing the knowledge, the experience of different perfumes. Then we offer our gratitude to the goddess of the taste, bringing us the knowledge and the experience of different savors and tastes. And then we offer our gratitude to the goddesses of the sight for bringing us the knowledge and the experience of the things that we see, colors and forms, beauty. And then we offer our gratitude to the goddess of touch for bringing us the experiences and the sensations of touching, embracing, caressing, hugging. And then we offer our gratitude to the goddess of hearing for offer us the sensations, the experiences, the knowledge of different sounds, music. And then we offer our gratitude to the goddess of the mind, of manas, for helping us to recognize different things that we experience, to feel the pleasure or the pain. And then we offer our gratitude to the goddess of Buddhi, of the higher mind, for offering us the knowledge, the experience of what is good or what is bad, to understand. And then we offer our gratitude to the goddess of the ego, the one that help us to be present in this world as an I, so that we can experience the different things and bring them back to the self as knowledge, as experience. And now we feel the triangle pointing up, which is Shiva, the aspiration, the desire to transcend this world, to go beyond duality and form into the pure consciousness. And in the same time, embracing Shiva, we feel the triangle of Shakti, manifesting the consciousness, bringing the divine into every little thing in this world, helping us to experience the divine consciousness in each and everything. And we feel this embrace between Shiva and Shakti, generating bliss in our heart, generating that divine ecstasy of being. And we feel the center of the yantra in our heart, that bindu, that point of unity, expanding from there to each and everything. The Shushumna, the spine, the axle of the world. We exist in this sacred space of divine consciousness, making everything around us sacred by this presence. We center our awareness in the middle of the chest, into that place that we point to when we say I, using the question, who am I? We go deeper and deeper into this divine presence, into this divine consciousness. We use every experience to get back to this I am feeling. When thoughts appear, we just ask ourselves, who is the one thinking? Me. Who am I? When emotions appear, positive or not so positive, who is the one feeling these emotions? Me. Who am I? And when sensations in the body arise, pleasant or not so pleasant, who is the one experiencing these sensations? Me. Who am I? In this way, we get back again and again to this I am feeling, that answer to the question. I am that becomes a tremor of the heart, spanda, that subtle vibration between the immanent and transcendent, a vibrating light so intense that we can just surrender, being without being someone or something, pure existence, pure consciousness, pure bliss. In this way, we detach ourselves from the identification with the body, with the senses, with the mind, with our desires or fears, with our memories. Who am I beyond all this? We ask the question, we are the answer. Who am I? keeping the awareness of the spiritual heart, that pure I feeling. We conclude our meditation now. Slowly we get in touch with the outer world, opening our eyes. So one thing that I forgot to mention, but that it can make the meditation more intense, more profound, is the using of bhavana. I know I told you about bhavana a lot of times. In this case, bhavana help us to make this kind of visualization, this kind of projection more alive. Bhavana means to use our intuition, our mystical intuition, to understand that is not about visualization, but about becoming aware of something that is already there. So it's not that we invent the guardians or we invent the goddesses of the senses, but we become aware of their presence, because each of these things are energies that are already there, but we are not aware of them. So by using bhavana, we awaken in us this awareness, and we become in this way conscious of uh, the energies of the senses, of the energies of aspiration and manifestation, uh, and these guarding things, that guarding energies that are helping us to be more present, and all these things. So it's important, and it's important to remember to use this power of your consciousness to discover and make present and make us aware of all these things that are again already there. So if you have other questions now that you experience it, if not, then thank you again for being here with me and understanding together all these things. Have a beautiful evening and see you next week.